Hi there, this is your friend Anna, and the question that I've been getting the most from all of my friends is what are we wearing? This age-old question isn't just about choosing an outfit, it's about choosing how we present ourselves to the world. I created the I Want Her Shoes podcast to dive deep into what it means to dress with intention, whether you're heading to a council meeting or just having a casual day out with your family. Join the conversation as we explore the power of personal style and the decisions that shape our public personas. Put on your favorite pair of shoes and step into my closet. Back to the I Want Her Shoes podcast. Today we're thrilled to dive into the world of sustainable luxury with Cynthia Lau, the innovative founder behind Casa Lily, right here in my closet, just a few blocks from the Miami Design District, and we'll explore how Cynthia's passion for fashion culture and sustainability is transforming the way we think about our wardrobe, which is really cool. Get ready to step into the conversation as chic and enlightened as eco-friendly pieces from Casa Lily. Great to have you with us, Cynthia.
I'm so excited to be here. And by the way, your closet's amazing, which I've already told her like 1,000 times.
Thank you. Well, I'm really excited to have you here. And then once we get to the end of the conversation, I'm going to ask you to pick like your favorite shoe from the closet. Like that's most used to think about.
That's probably going to be the hardest thing about this whole entire, like, as a shoe-obsessed person, like, that's going to be really difficult, but it's fun. It'll be fun.
Well, let's go ahead and dive in. I want to get to know you a little bit about you. Can you please tell us a little bit about you, where you grew up, your family, your background?
Yeah, so it's funny. I'm actually Cuban, Chinese, and Spanish. So I was born in Cuba, and I came when I was 5 years old. I'm 28 now, so still young. But it's been a journey. People don't think I look Asian, but my last name is Lau. And my grandparents on my dad's side are Asian, so...
That's such a cool background.
I know, it's such a mix. But yeah, I came here, did school here, grew up here in Miami. I would say I'm a Miami local now because I've lived here the majority of my life. Traveled abroad, lived a little bit in the Philippines. I did my undergrad and master's here, and now I own my shoewear brand.
Amazing. Well, congratulations.
Thank
That's such an amazing story. And let's talk a little bit about what sparked the idea for Casa Lily and how your personal experiences have influenced the brand's mission and value, which is really nice.
Yeah, so, I mean, I've always had a love for fashion since a young age. I did theater from a young age. I was diagnosed with cancer when I was very young, 13, and throughout my teenage years, my way through self-expression was through makeup or, how I dress up, things like that. So definitely always been a fashion lover in one way or another. And then kind of to help me get my self-esteem back, my mom, signed me up for my first beauty pageant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So she kind of, it all, just grew from there. And then my love, it really did help me with my, bring back that Cynthia, the Cynthia effect, she calls it. But my personality and everything, and then I got to work with amazing designers. Huge modeling opportunities came my way.
That's awesome.
But then I decided, I was like, I want to design and I want to own a business. It was always my dream. Very different from what I did undergrad. I originally went to school for science, and then I thought I was going to be a doctor. And then living in the Philippines, I realized I just wanted to do fashion and business. It's more me.
That's more fun.
So then that's how I ended up with Casa Lily.
Yeah. Well, that's a great story.
Yeah.
And do your parents have a business as well, or
my parents are in real estate?
Oh, okay. Well, that's very entrepreneurial.
Very
wanted to see if you were.
entrepreneurial,
It sounds like so you have that in your family. That's awesome. And the sustainability, I know, is a cornerstone for Casa Lily. Could you tell us a little bit about how these practices are integrated in the business operations and the product sourcing? Because that's very I feel like that's really important.
So yeah, the most important thing when it comes to being sustainable is you're realizing, one, that you're part of the problem, and two, you're taking small steps to, seeing what you can do as a brand. And I think specifically to Casa Lily, we're talking about circular economy, right? So how are you, one, sourcing the materials? Where are you sourcing it from? Because there's no brand that's 100% sustainable. Right now, it is impossible to be 100% sustainable. But the fact that there are sustainable initiatives in a brand or in any brand, it's a huge step currently in the fashion industry. And I think that's where we have to start. So with us specifically, is we're really specific into like, we work right now with vegan materials, but what is the composition behind those materials? Right? So there'll be percentages when you work with suppliers, and like some of those, because the apple leather I source isn't from the same, you get me? From the same supplier. So some of these leathers will come from different suppliers, and then you really have to go down into the composition of it. And that's what's really going to tell you how sustainable a material is or not. Where is it sourced from? What is the process of, getting that apple leather? That is really where it starts getting nitty gritty of it. And then also teaching our consumers, we use recyclable packaging, where we remind our consumers all the time how they can, be sustainable. Within our packaging, we remind you can use this for storage. We also have a system where, like, I like to tell people, if anything happens to your shoe and you want to fix it, message us and we'll connect you to a cobbler. So it's that idea of like, our shoes, we make them, very timeless. We're a seasonless brand, so we don't produce based on trends. We don't have trends. We produce in very minimum quantities.
I love that.
Very low waste. We order exactly what we need. So if they're like, I don't leave any room for error. So if I don't have an error, I just don't produce the shoe. It's just how we work, because we take, like, again, that is what that is a value I want to uphold within my brand. And yeah, it's just little things. And a big one is education. Educate your consumers on why it is, and on why it is important, and how we're shifting into that now in the fashion industry.
No, that's a great answer, and thank you for doing that. I feel like it's really important to not over order, because then it just goes, then you lose value in your brand, really, in the
100%.
product. And what were some of, if you had any significant challenges you faced while establishing the brand, and how did you overcome them? And I'm sure there's always challenges.
I think the biggest challenge for any, and I will say this myself, for any early stage founder, I mean, we only launched 6 months ago. We've gotten really lucky.
I had no idea. So
yeah,
well, congratulations. That's
Thank
awesome.
you so much. We've gotten really lucky, but at the same time, the beginning was obviously monetary. Like, where are we going to find the funds? And then now we're facing tariffs.
I know, so I was going to ask you, that's not in here, because I actually wrote this. We wrote this before that happened. But how is that going to affect your whole sustainability practice and like all of that? Because let's talk a little bit about that. That's very trendy.
Yeah. So again, it goes back to remaining profitable and being profitable. But because the reality is, as an early stage founder, you don't have, the money available that like the bigger brands have, that they can just pivot that quickly. So with me, a lot of it is, one, I want to remain, true to my values and my ethical standards, which I have really high ethical standards. So I'm not going to stop working with my factory, but I'm also negotiating right now on how I can bring my costs down for the footwear, because I also don't want to increase costs for my consumers. I don't think it's fair.
I'm sure you and 1,000 other people.
I don't think it's fair. And I'm also right now working on a huge social impact project, and also as a Latin founder myself, working with different factories and also indigenous communities over in Colombia. So we're not only are we going to be producing in Portugal in very small quantities, and renegotiating that with my factory, but also now also having production over in Colombia.
Cool. And what are the tariffs there now?
So
are they low? Are they? I think they're lower.
Not in comparison.
To like Europe or like China.
There's no comparison.
China's like 57% or something. I just literally did a recording before you got here about that to publish on Monday.
There is no comparison. I believe it's about a 10%. So it's completely different. Very also like product costs in Colombia are just because the dollar goes a long way, right, in Latin America. Whereas in Europe, you also have to take into account that the tariffs are not only going to affect your product costs, your shipment costs, everything, but also think about the conversion.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
You're paying in euro, you're not paying in dollars. So there's a lot of things to take into account. And I think I always recommend find somebody who's already done it and who you can learn from and can mentor you. And that is where networking comes in. And that is me. I've gotten so lucky that I've met phenomenal women who have already done it and have businesses. And that is why I ask. And I'm like, how can I pivot? What is the best way to go about this? So.
No, that's very smart. Yeah. No, that's a great answer. And What about, you said that you guys are not seasonal, that, you know, you guys don't really produce a lot of stuff, or you're not trendy. So how do you decide on new products or design, and when do you decide? Is it going to be like every couple years, or like are you just going to have the same? Kind of did that, and it didn't work out for her because she was kind of not, you know, like changing the stuff.
So
I wanted to see what your strategy was, because I feel like it's a good strategy for sustainability and such.
Right.
But I feel like, again, consumers, like, again, they can only buy one or a couple of your products, right?
That's where you have to design more classic styled shoes.
Right.
So instead of saying this is a summer collection, no, in this collection, this is a shoe that's very versatile, and you show your consumers that you can wear it. Doesn't matter when you launch it. You launch it in winter, maybe it'll last you over summer, but like, for me, I would say I don't have any new product coming in probably till that August, September timeframe. So we would be entering fall. So for me, it's, okay, a lot of the footwear I have, because it's women high elegant heels, you could use this all year long. Not for anything. But
especially in Miami. I mean,
in Miami, actually some of my funny enough, my biggest customer base at the moment is from cold weather states in the US. So Minnesota, you know, Massachusetts. And you wouldn't think so, because you're like, well, aren't they wearing boots all the time? I'm like, I love it because it's proven to me that a timeless classic goes a long way. Right. So it does work. I just think where you can launch something here and there that does offer that, you know, seasonal aspect of it, there are shoes that are always going to be timeless, colors that are going to be timeless. It's just really in how you design it and the functionality aspect of it.
Yeah. And probably the comfort.
And the comfort, yes. 110%.
And I know that community is always important in brands, and also in your ethos. How do you maintain and deepen these relationships through your business practices?
So at the moment, we're actually working on this. We want to start a big goal of mine for this year is to start doing more community-based events with consumers as the brand expands and grows. You know, at the beginning, you're so focused on, okay, let me just get off the floor. Let me get profitability in check. Let me get, you know, just production designs in check. It's a lot, and when you don't have a team to help you, you're handling a lot of things. But I think one of the things, and my goal personally, is like to start doing at least one community event every quarter for our consumers, and that's something that I'm looking in to bring forth, because I think it is important for your consumers to get to know you in person and see how you can partner maybe with other brands to do that as well, especially when you're an early stage founder.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's a great idea. And what impact has Casa Lily had on the communities you source from? Because you mentioned some communities, like you were looking at Colombia. And what are your long-term goals for the company now that things are a little bit shifting, right?
Yeah. So I think being adaptable and consistent and learning that this can happen at any point, I think that's one of the best pieces of advice I can give to anyone, because I have had crazy things happen to me where I've lost a lot of money, and that's normal early on. But for me specifically, long-term goal, which is by end of year, I want to launch the Casa Lily marketplace, which is an extension of the Casa Lily brand and its design. And it's really gonna give, like I said, it's gonna be a marketplace specifically for indigenous communities, sustainable designs, where, like, you know, a lot of these communities, especially in Latin America, because I am a Latin founder, this has been done in the essence of, like, you know, giving communities in India, Bangladesh, other countries, but there hasn't been a lot of emphasis in Latin America. And I feel like as a Latina, this is the time, and there's so much talent, and also just giving them, you know, that platform to showcase and people get to learn about them. I think it's something incredible. So that's a huge goal, and that's currently a big aspect of what I'm working on right now.
Cool. No, that sounds like an amazing project, and I'm looking forward to see what happens with it and everything. Yeah. And what unexpected lessons have you learned through your journey with Casa Lily? I'm sure there's probably something every day, but what, maybe if there's a couple that stand out.
Specifically to what area of the business do you?
I mean, gosh, I guess just as like a I mean, it sounds like this is your first business, right?
Yeah.
So, and maybe the next question I had was about what advice you have for entrepreneurs that are thinking about starting. Maybe we could combine them into one, because I feel like they go hand in hand.
I always say have a plan B and C, and that's just something I've had to learn. So, and you, because if plan A doesn't work, you go with plan B, and if plan B doesn't work, you have a plan C. So something I've learned is that because you are going to need to be adaptable, you are going to need to pivot. And it's just the way it is, because sometimes you can't solve everything. Or like for instance, I'll tell you what happened to me. Like, my production got pushed back because originally, like for December, all our heels, when we received them at the, at my manufacturers, they came in broken. They just broke. So what are we gonna do there? And we had a date to launch. Literally, things happen. So what did I have to do? Nothing. I put on a pre-order model on the Casa Lily website. That was my backup. So I wasn't gonna launch the shoe, and then you have to email people like, "Hey, sorry." It's just things you have to do. But in that pre-order, hey, I'm so sorry this happened. Let me give you a 30% off, 40%, whatever the issue may be, or let me gift you this extra thing for you willing to wait an extra 2 weeks for your pair of shoes. It's just, you always need to have a plan B or C, because so many things happen.
Yes, for sure.
So many things, and then like my stock like has also been in like, for like an extended week or two, because they're backed up, and so many things can happen, and that's what I say. Up front, you're gonna lose more money that you're not prepared for. So I think something I've learned is like, find methods where you can have a plan B and C, and now I'm doing that more so. And with the tariffs, that was something that a month or two ago I was already like aware of, and I was like, okay, now I need to move forward.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great advice. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Now tell me about the shoes that you brought, and
All tell us exactly what makes your shoes, other than being sustainable, and tell us what makes them so awesome. I love the heel. It's really cool. It has like a little spike, like it makes it a little edgy, I feel like.
Yeah, so the heel's got the wave heel, and what it is like, the idea was, because everything is centered around environmentalism, so the heel design is, if you notice the whole wave crashes, the highest point of the wave is called the crest. So what my idea was, I want women, when they step on a Casa Lily heel, one, they know that it's a Casa Lily heel, and two, that they feel empowered. Because when you wear heels, you feel empowered, you feel taller, you feel, like you're ready to take the night out. And that is in essence what the wave heel is. Not only an ode to the wave, but also an ode for women empowerment.
Love that.
Because it's how you should feel when you wear your heels.
Yeah, and Casa Lily, what does the name stand for?
So Casa Lily, again, the idea for Casa Lily was always somewhere where people could find and come home, and they felt like it was more than just a brand. It was a brand with social impact, a brand that's going to be more so than just footwear design. Again, we're expanding into making it a home for other artisans and things like that, outside of just my own designs. And then Lily is just my favorite flower, and it was an ode to it. Those are our 5 values. So design, ethical practices, sustainability, so on and so forth. So every little detail in the shoe, very, very simple, classic. Again, I go with it. When I launched, this was the first heel I launched. It's my favorite, just because I wear them nonstop. I launched this in red, nude, and black.
Those are the perfect colors. Well, pink, you need to have.
I need to launch a pink color. I've been asked for
maybe
pink.
Maybe we can collaborate on a pink one.
We totally could. And then this has always sold very well, just because, again, it's a classic that you need to have in your closet, a classic stiletto that matches with everything across the board, and you always need, at least in your closet, a nude or a black shoe.
At least. At least. Or
you can have more, but at least, if you're going to make the investment, at least.
Agreed. Well, no, thank you so much for sharing. No, I'll definitely have to check them
out. I've worn these a lot. These are actually prototypes.
Are they?
I never keep the real ones.
Really?
So, like, the final production, I never keep
because you don't make enough.
No,
yeah, because you want to, like,
exactly, correct. So these are actually the first prototypes of the black that I ever created, and the ones where I was like, you know what, approved. The shoe is approved. Let's go into production. So these were the final prototypes, which I did in my size, because I do try my shoes on for like a month to 3 before I'm like, let's go to production.
Well, yeah, because you're the one that.
I'm the one that knows.
You're the person that knows that it's good or
bad.
And
I love heels. I'm always in heels. Funny enough, yes, my friends will be like, Cynthia's always in heels.
Well, wait till you get to later parts of your life. You'll have like shorter heels. You'll be like shrinking, like you'll be shrinking.
But these are cute. Yeah, I have those.
These kind of size.
But look
heels.
At you.
I know. Well, those I don't wear that often, but
these are beautiful.
Comfortable,
I actually have these. This do you? Not in this color. I have the black ones.
Yeah. No, I saw the black ones, and I'm like,
I like, yeah, you know, I do have some blonde.
You have an amazing shoe collection.
Thank you.
Like an amazing shoe collection.
Yeah, now I have to be more picky because there's like I don't have a lot of room, so like you know I have to really like want the shoes and I don't buy like uncomfortable shoes anymore.
No, yeah, as you should.
I did in in my 20s, and they're a lot of fun to run around in. But now it's more. I mean, I still wear them, but I have 2 kids, so it's like more practical for me now.
No, 100%, 100%.
Well, now let's do some quick like this or that.
Okay,
so I'm gonna ask
let's
you,
do it. Fun.
And tell me what comes to mind first. Vintage finds or new trends?
Vintage finds.
Agreed. Handmade artisanry or technological innovation?
Ooh, that's a hard one. And I'll tell you why, because I love handmade things, but also like as a founder, I love my technological advances because they make my life so much easier. So it's like a combination.
You can say both.
Right, both. So in business, technology, but in fashion, handmade.
Yes,
I love
100%.
handmade jewelry.
You can't beat it. I think there's a special like energy in it.
And the story behind it.
Yeah.
The story behind
It's
it.
special.
Yeah.
Morning meditation or evening walk?
Ooh. Morning meditation.
Local markets or online shopping?
Local markets.
I love local.
I love going. I'm coffee obsessed, as you can see. She goes, "Do you want water or coffee?" No,
yes, I was gonna ask you espresso shot or herbal tea. Obviously.
You know, but
I didn't even offer tea, but you went for coffee.
Espresso, but definitely local markets for that. Yeah.
Cool. Spring blossoms or autumn leaves? We don't have autumn leaves here though, so
spring blossoms.
Yes,
yeah.
Lily, you know all that. Yeah. Yoga pants or tailored suit?
Tailored suit.
Yes, I could see. I feel like fashion people are not gonna do like
it's just
or like Olo outfits.
No, I'm like my whole day. I love comfortable workwear. Where it's
me
like,
too. Yeah, like,
I don't know if you say. Well, yeah, kind of like you. That's how I would dress too. Like and like this for me is extremely comfortable,
but it looks very professional, beautiful.
Yes, and it's very like laid back, very laid back and comfortable.
Yeah. Classic literature or trending bestseller?
I do like my spicy rom-coms.
You know, like
books. So it depends. It depends. I can't lie. I have very classic literature. I also played the piano for years, so I like classics. But I'm gonna go with trendy.
I like that. One. Hey, that's totally fine.
I can't lie to you. Trendy on that one.
And
I like my bestsellers.
Love it. And DIY decor or professional interior design?
I am so funny enough. I can design for fashion, and I have a fashion sense. But when it comes to decorating my home space, I'm awful. Like I feel like I don't have the eye for that. I would probably hire somebody.
Well, that's totally
a
fine.
professional. I think you know, to each, everybody's talented in one way or another. So I would definitely go with an interior designer.
Well, Cynthia, thank you so much for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. We hope today's episode empowers you to make thoughtful choices in fashion and beyond. Don't forget to check out Casa Lily for sustainable and stylish options that make a difference. And tune in next time on I Want Her Shoes podcast for more conversation about fashion, luxury, and leadership. And don't forget to follow and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and on YouTube. And stay updated on our latest episode and keep embracing your style with sophistication and flair, ladies. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.